So I watched the Nintendo Direct video last week where they announced the new Mario games and the two new Zelda games, one of which being the Wind Waker, which will be coming out in October, which is a remaster of the GameCube one. What interested me particularly is that the new Zelda game, which is coming out maybe next year or the year after, they're planning to redefine what makes a Zelda game, in that they're going to break the convention that they have set up since the very first Zelda game and try something different. Now, this is a very interesting change, especially for die-hard Zelda fans, in that we're all used to the, go to Dungeon 1, get an item, kill the boss, Dungeon 2, repeat, and then kill Ganon or whoever it is at the end. And a lot of us like that formula. That's the formula that has been tried and tested, and like I said, it's been in since the very first game. Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Skyward, they've all got it. It's the exact same formula. Skyward Sword didn't really change that much. The only thing that really was invented there was the control scheme, with the motion controls as opposed to just the button mashing, which I personally enjoyed, but I know a lot of people weren't too happy about that. So the question is, which is on everyone's minds, is when they say reinvent or shake up the formula, what are they going to do as a result? So I'd like to share what I would like to see in the next Zelda game. The first of which is that I'd like the motion controls to remain. I really liked the Skyward Sword controls when they worked. I found that the forward thrust motion didn't always respond, which is difficult because certain enemies required that to kill them. And what I would like to see is less linearity. Skyward Sword was fairly linear. Most Zelda games really are, but Skyward Sword in particular, it just felt like I was being sort of pushed along to certain places at certain times, and it wasn't really my decision to go there. I was just being told to. So with that in mind, I would like, say, instead of going to the Forest Temple first, I would like to have all 5 temples accessible, and I would like to perhaps do another temple first and just do them in my own order. So what could you do as a result of this? You could say that because I went to the Shadow Temple first instead of the Forest Temple, maybe a certain series of events will unfold as a result of that, and you can create your own storyline basically. As you went to the Shadow Temple, this would happen, that wouldn't have happened if I went to the Forest Temple, and then sort of like the Mass Effect sort of story arcs, and so you can create your own endings. So there could be multiple endings, which would be really cool. I like the dungeons in Skyward Sword. I think they were definitely the best ones in the franchise. They weren't so difficult that they would, piss you off, but they weren't so easy that you would just be like, oh, this is pointless, it's too easy. I like the staggered save points. It's really helpful for those of us who don't have like 2 or 3 hours to run through a dungeon in a single go. The graphics, I'm a big fan of the art style of Skyward Sword and the Wind Waker. Not so much a fan of the realistic Twilight Princess-y sort of style. So I'll definitely like to see them sort of push the boundaries as to the cartoony, faux realistic art style. Like Skyward Sword was like a mix of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and I'd like them to sort of continue that and try something different, because if they're going to try a completely new like structure to the franchise, it makes sense that they should possibly do something more crazy with the art as well. The length-wise, I would like them to be a lot less grinding, not grinding, but like collection, like Skyward Sword in particular, where there was just a lot of needless collecting. I think I completed the game in about 33 hours when it came out, and I think if they got rid of the collecting, like the stupid note collecting towards like the latter half of the game, when you go underwater and you collect the musical notes, that was pointless, stupid, and I hated every second of it. I was doing it and I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like the woman said, you must prove yourself to me, but I've already proven myself to you through the first 30 fucking hours. Why do I need to do that again? So get rid of the collecting, and the game would have easily been about 20 hours, which isn't a bad thing. I don't know why companies seem to think that a good game has to be a really long game. A good game is a satisfactory experience no matter how long it is. Like Braid's not that long, it might be 4 or 5 hours, and that's still a great game to play. If it was 50 hours of the same things over and over again, it wouldn't be any better just because it was longer. So I'd like them to focus more on innovative experiences more than just the sake of padding the game with needless content. And with the linearity I mentioned previously, I would like them to branch out and let me do more things. There's the main story, and in Skyward Sword particularly, I'm referencing this game Locks, it's the most recent one. There's just not a lot of even just side quests that mean anything. There's that fun island thing where you like fly through the hoops, but what's the point of it? It doesn't seem like anything's really going on that matters. I'd like to do some side quests that perhaps influence the main storyline. Like because I saved someone in a side quest, maybe he will come to help me in the main storyline, which would again branch the story off into different arcs. There's so much they could do with this series, and I really hope that they're going to use this opportunity to perhaps think of these ideas and push Zelda in a new direction that will give it a new formula that will help it last as long as it has already. Just want to say my favourite Zelda game is probably Majora's Mask. Just putting that out there. Thank you.